can have your computer run a bunch of programs and interface with your robot so you can drive around or do whatever you want it to do, and give the robot some AI or just different tasks that it can perform. And it brings together a lot of hardware, so you have servo arms and motors and wheels and cameras, a lot of cameras and things like that, all tied together and have the robot perform as one unit. What I'm going to do is give you some examples from YouTube videos of some of the really neat things that they're doing with ROS, and then I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. I'm just going to show a couple YouTube videos of a guy giving a really good presentation on what it does and how to use it. Then I'll take questions and go over more like an Adam will talk and give examples and things like that. So that's kind of how we're going to move. What ROS can do for you is pretty amazing. It ties together pretty much any piece of hardware. If it doesn't already have a module on ROS, then people will develop it for you, or you can develop it. There's a lot of tutorials out there on how to use it. It's really easy to install. The tutorials are kind of tough, but if you get through them, you kind of know what's going on, and that's kind of what this guy's going to talk about. Some of the neat things that it can do is, since lately the Microsoft Kinect has come out, it does a lot of things. It has a few cameras, and what it can do is it can map a room, or it can follow a person, or follow an object, and the computer will then, you'll get your dimensions of the room, dimensions of objects, so you can do 3D scanning to put things into CAD so you can then print them out however you want. Or you can do a thing where you map the room or the house or the building, and then you can go into what's called ROS, which is another program with ROS, and plot out your robot, and then have your robot drive around the environment to go from point A, and it has path following, or it creates its own paths to go from like your room to the kitchen or different things like that. So it's really good for some of that stuff. And there's been contests out there for just developing the Kinect with ROS, and they had a really good turnout, and all the code is free and all the tutorials are free, and you can find them and use them, and I'll help you do that in a minute. But it's pretty amazing. Let's see what kind of videos I can come up with. Or Adam, do you want to take over while I'm getting the video?
Yeah, basically the experience that I've had with ROS is, since I'm familiar with Roborum, and I'm personally not a coder, I just like things that are more easy and more of a hardware guy. I'll put things together and then try to associate it with the software. And so this is all fairly new, because the majority of this stuff is got a learning curve to it. And what I noticed is you can jump right into it as long as you follow the tutorials, as far as based on trying to get whatever they have in the tutorials set up. But I think if you want to go further, you need something a little more specific, you're going to have to take a little bit of the time to understand the knowledge base of the software, to understand how it incorporates with the computer and your software. But like I said, the learning curve is kind of high, but once you start getting into it, it's pretty familiar. It's pretty smooth, I would say.
Right now, it's under development, and it's being, it's cutting edge, and they don't really have a graphical user interface for a lot of the things. You have to do command line, so it's like the DOS days of figuring out what software to run and have it, put up the graphical user interface, the GUI, and to see what you're working with. And then you have sliders and things to manipulate your environment or different programs. But at some point, they will have graphical user interfaces, and that's one of the drawbacks right now, is you're learning the commands, but it gives you a very good understanding of what's going on behind the scenes. And then once they do make it like Roborum, which is for Windows, it'll be really easy to use, and it'll be amazing.
There's more, and plus if you understand the coding aspect of it, it's just going to make it easier. So if you have something that's more specific, you'll be more familiar with setting it up versus having to use somebody else's code that you found to work with your system. But like I said, it does have a graphical interface, but you have to load it manually in a terminal command prompt, like Jay was saying. And if you can get past that, then it's fairly similar to Roborum.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, wasn't too difficult, but I wasn't used to it. But once you get familiar with it, it's not all that difficult. So.
All right, I'm going to show a video just to kind of give you some ideas of what's out there. This is working with the Kinect, and some people have seen things like this, and it might be sound, it might not be. What the Kinect is doing is it's tracking your hands, tracking your fingertips, and you're able to manipulate your environment or control a PC. It's not just for robotics, but you can control your robot. So if you had one of the things is it can judge, and there's no sound on this one, but it can track your skeleton, and in this case they got it down to the fingertips, and tracking where they're at. So you can move a humanoid hand around or stuff like that and move things around. They've got things where you play the piano, and but let me go to another video real quick. That just kind of shows you how the Kinect recognizes your fingertips and follows them individually for you. And they had the skeleton tracking right away, and the finger tracking is kind of a newer add-on to that, because they were not able to manipulate the hands of the robot, because they were just able to manipulate the arms, but now they're getting down to the fingertips, so it's pretty cool. Let's see what else I've got on. This is, I'm jumping a little bit, but this is what's called 60 Slam, and it's room mapping, and the video that I'll be giving, the long videos of the presentation, he'll actually go into it. I'm wondering why I'm not getting this.
Your speakers on, I don't think.
It work. Maybe I'm not working. No? Let's see if I'm muted or something.
Turn that down for you if it's not working.
Yeah, here we go. All right. Sorry about this.